Hey you guys, good morning. It's me, Lemo, from ADHD Aquatics. I'm down south. I think I'm in like Taylorsville or something. I'm like an hour away from my house. I came to visit my fishy friend Trinity. I had bought shrimp from her previously. I got a bucket of rinsed black sand back there and a bucket full of plants picked up from her. And then I asked her, I said, are there any fish stores near here? Because, we're always on the lookout looking for some fishies. She said the waterfront is near here, which is Guppy Guru. And then Fish for You, which I've been to before. It's been like a year since I've been to Fish for You. Maybe. And then there's a place called Mark's Ark. I've never been there before. She said she remembers going there as a kid and that it was not the best. She used some other words, but she did not set a high expectation for this place. So I decided we'll go there because going to the waterfront is going to be like a whole thing. So that I need to save that for like a better day when I don't have to go to work and I'm not so exhausted. And then Fish for You, I've been there before, so we can definitely hit that place up. But that's just like a regular fish store, kind of like it was kind of like Pets and Such. I really like Pets and Such, so it's snowing out. It's all doom and gloomy. So we're gonna head that way and see what we can get up to at Mark's Ark.
I'm gonna get you there.
Oh, Datnoid. Cute babies. Oh, cute little Datnoid babies. Oh my goodness. Uh-oh. fish that are in here are attacking those Oscars. Hi, puppy. I feel like I could spend all day in here looking at each one of these, but I gotta go to work. I got lots of snakes. I like that. I like snakes. Maybe we could get a snake that lives in the fish room. Maybe. Okay, so Chavez is gonna wanna come look at these spiders. For sure. Hi, cute little baby. Aww. Aw, cute. Alright, you guys, just got done at Mark's Ark. It's usually more fun when I go to fish stores with Zach, because, I mean, if you guys... What? What? I can't see you, dude, so get out of the way. Okay. You're, like, sitting behind me, like, oh no, you're gonna hit me. Well, don't be so timid. You need to actually have some courage and drive. Alright, so... If you saw the other video where we went to... Where did we go? Rusty's Reefs. That was interesting. Alright, so a mixed review about Mark's Ark. They had... Alright, let's say the good things first. Good things first is they had a lot of variety in livestock. They had, dwarf frogs, pictus cat, dwarf red lobster. They had a scat, they had datnoids, they had, Bisher. They had, oh, gotta make a left here. Oh boy, I missed it. That's okay. They had, the little Bishers they had were like this big and like skinnier than my pinky. Why are you doing that? Good things. They had a lot of stuff, dry goods in stock. They had, I got a secret surprise for Geralt. They had lots of different types of food. I'll show you the food I got. This one. $28.99 for float. New Life Spectrum float jumbo pellet. Natural color enhancing floating pellets. Pellet. I'm gonna put that in the monster tank for those cichlids, because I have cichlid pellets that sink, but they sink too fast. And that's good for the catfish and all, but you know, I'd rather them be able to eat, and I don't have to stand there and keep feeding like 5 or 6 pellets every couple seconds, because they are kind of slow to eat. And then I could also give those to the yellow labs and the bumblebees, because they also, like, kind of once it hits the ground, they're like, I don't want to eat it. It's not edible anymore. I can't get it. Can't reach. So that's good. They had that food. I like that, because like PetSmart and Petco don't have like a lot of variety on foods and stuff. They had a lot of live food options. I got blackworms. I got 2 ounces of blackworms. They had little mices. They had like roundworms, or like red wiggler guys. They had like a bunch. I should have taken a picture of the board. There was like 10 options for live food up at the counter. But when I asked, do you have any live food for fish, he said blackworms. So all the other types of live food were probably for like snakes and spider guys and stuff. So we didn't get that. Good stuff. They had ferrets. That was cute. I liked that. They also had kittens, but they weren't out on display yet. The lady was building the tank for them, or the enclosure for them. I said, don't show me those kittens. I'm not allowed to have any more kittens. Well, I said, I already have 7 cats, and my husband says, that's a lucky number. We shouldn't get any more. my husband would probably be very upset if I got another cat. And if I see a kitten, it's very hard for me to control myself. So, which is how I ended up getting Baby Banks and Coco Baby, Bagheera, and Mr. Nibbles. I got Bagheera and Mr. Nibbles when I was like, I'm gonna go volunteer for the cat room at the animal shelter. And I went there and I was like, oh my gosh, these cats came up to me. They were super lovey. They were licking me and rubbing on me and meowing at me and being super sweet. And I said, just out of curiosity, how much are your cat adoptions right now? They said, oh, well, since we have so many cats right now, they're free. I said, great, we're gonna end this volunteer opportunity tour. It was my first day. I was just getting a tour, and I was like, I'm gonna go home and get my cat carriers, and I'm coming back and I'm getting Romeo and Bagheera. Romeo is like, that name was garbage. His name is clearly Mr. Nibbles. Okay, irrelevant, sorry. I could tell the story about Baby Binks and Kobu on the next tangent, in the next video. So, good things about Mark's Ark. The people that were really super nice. I went in, I said, hey, do you mind if I take videos of your tanks? He said, no, it's fine, go ahead. The one guy was like, hey, let us know if you have any questions. I was like, all right, bet, thank you. And then he didn't like bother me the whole time. Like, hey, are you gonna buy fish? Hey, are you gonna buy fish? Hey, are you gonna buy fish? Hey, do you need this? Are you gonna do this? Blah, 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 blah. He kind of just let me go. I was like filming, doing my thing. There was a lady there. I was like, hey, there's something in this tank that I like. Do you have this available, like a new one I could buy, or can I buy this one out of this tank? So she helped me find it on the shelf. But I was like, at first we couldn't find it, so I was like, hey, can you ask them, like, can I buy it out of the tank? She's like, yeah, I'll ask. But then she came back, she was like, I found it. So I got it, and that's a secret surprise I'll show you when we get home. So I'm tricking you, you gotta watch till the end. I gotta make a left here this time for real. Don't forget. Alright, sorry the squeaky. Just put it on one chicka. Oh, it's still too squeaky. Come on, dude. God, you have the right of way. Sorry, I'm trying to make a left right now. Oops, dropped it. Good things about Mark's Ark. It was nice and warm in there. And every tank was on a separate, each tank was separate. A lot of the tanks looked really clean. I don't think I noticed, I think their Blackwater tank was a little but it's a Blackwater tank, so whatever. I'm running this yellow light. And changing lanes in the intersection, but at least I used my blinker. Okay, so, tanks were clean. We'll talk about, oh my gosh, UPS, really, bro? Okay. Good things. I'm a really critical person, so it's easy for me to point out the bad stuff. Good things. I asked them, do you have a bathroom? Because they're an hour away from me, and I have to use the bathroom every hour, because I'm a small person, and I have a small bladder, and I drink a gallon of water a day. So, he said, no, ours is out of order right now. And at first I was thinking, great, they're one of those stores where, like, no public restrooms, and, like, I thought he was, like, lying to me and telling me, like, I'm not allowed to use it or whatever. But then he was like, there's a coffee shop next door, that's where we go. So I was like, okay, so either their bathroom really is out of order, or they just don't want to share their bathroom with customers, but he offered me a solution, which was nice. I went into that coffee shop. Oh my gosh, they were so nice. Next time I go down there, I should have taken a video, but I walked in and I wasn't expecting it to be like such a great experience. I'm guessing like the owner guy, he was like, hey, welcome. And I was like, hi, this is my first time in here. Where can I go to order like a coffee? Because there was like 2 counters, and I guess one of the counters was like the preparation counter or whatever, and then the other counter is where you order. He was like super kind, like very, very sweet and kind. He was like, yeah, go right over there, you can see the kids and they'll help you out. And it was like these young, I guess like 16, 17-year-old kids. They helped me out. I was like, you got like an iced coffee? Oh, my straw has a hole in it. What the heck, man? Oh, it's just gassing this place up. a straw from Chick-fil-A. So I guess the lid, the only thing sucks is I used this for lemonade last night. The lid poked a hole in the straw, so that's a negative, but we're good. Alright, so they were super sweet. I don't like going into a place and like saying, let me use your bathroom, like without buying something. I think it's kind of rude. So I bought a little iced coffee. Then that was like just a super nice environment. They had like these burlap sacks of coffee beans on the ground as like, I guess, decoration. I don't know. It was like super homey and like real coffee shop vibes. I loved it. It wasn't like real commercialized like some of the bigger chain stores, whatever. So that was a bonus. So now every time I go to Mark's Ark, I'll make it a point to go into that coffee shop because it'll be like a little event and it's like an hour away from my house, so it could be like a nice outing for the weekends or something. So that was a positive. Let's talk about the negatives. So when I was speaking with Trinity, I was like, hey, is there a fish store nearby? She was like naming them, and she was like, yeah, Mark's Ark is kind of sketchy. Now, I don't know what she meant by sketchy, but for me, sketchy means like doing something like illegal or something like bad, like you're up to mischief, like you're up to no good or whatever. Sketchy is just like questionable for me. And I'm thinking, well, how bad can it be? Like, okay, maybe their fish are sick. That's what I was thinking. Well, let's talk about the first thing. I don't know much about cichlids. I don't know if they had the tank mates set up appropriately, but I can tell you one thing. There was one tank where there was 2 Oscars. Oh, heck, this lane ends. 2 Oscars that were about this big in a tank with some other littler cichlids. I think they were firemouth. I don't know the cichlid names or whatever, but they were fin nipping the Oscars very badly, and the Oscars were hiding under a filter. Or no, what was it? A heater. And that made me sad, and I thought, come on, like you can put these Oscars in the other tanks, like with the other Oscars. I don't know, I just wasn't happy to see that. That made me upset. I feel like their fins were damaged. I feel like someone would have noticed it, or someone should have noticed it that works there and moved the fish to a different tank. Let's see. Another negative thing, I noticed that a lot of the African cichlids had this sunken belly, and you might be able to pick it up in one of the videos I took. And one of them was really bad. Like his belly was like boom, like sunken, like really bad. And I've never seen that before on a fish. I've seen fish be real skinny or real bloated. But when I saw that, the first thing I thought was, okay, that's probably a parasite. But that's bad. Like, I don't know. So I Googled it, and apparently it's something that African cichlids are like susceptible to. I don't know if it affects other species, but from what I read, the 5 minutes I spent Googling in the store, because at first I was considering getting a female yellow lab that was like an adult size. I was like, oh, that would be cool because I have a male that's an adult. Maybe I can get them to start spawning here soon and start getting some fry and stuff. And like, you know, all my fish in my fish room are new. I haven't had like a lot of spawns yet. I think I've had like 2 or 3 guppies drop fry so far. I've only had a lot of my fish for like a month or 2 or 3 months or so. So I was like, yeah, instead of waiting for my yellow labs to grow up, I could just get this adult one. But looking at the other fish in the tank, I was like, I don't know what's wrong with these fish. So one of them was super exaggerated, and that made me start looking at the other ones, and a lot of the fish, a lot of the cichlids in that store also had this little slight sunken belly. And I looked it up, and it was looking like it was a type of parasite thing. But that African cichlids get it the worst, I guess, but it's very contagious and deadly. And I was like, well, it's a good thing that these tanks are on separate things, but it was in multiple tanks. If you look closely while I'm going to the store or whatever, you'll be able to see. I don't know why it's telling me to take Legacy. Legacy is big garbage. Speed limit on Legacy is like 65. I'm gonna risk it for the biscuit, and I'm gonna take 15 because it says similar ETA and the speed limit is 70, and if I get pulled over going 90, it's not as bad as if I get pulled over doing 90 in the 60. Regardless of that. So I was stumped. I was like, do I even buy any fish from this store? Because they had some that I was really interested in. Like, they had some white labs. They looked like the yellow labs, but they were all white. They had one that looked like a yellow lab, but it was albino. And I was like, dang, that's cool. I really wanted to get a datnoid because they had them for a good price. They had them at $89.99. And there was one that had really good looking markings, but it looked so skinny, I could see its skull, like through its skin. You might be able to notice. And I don't know if that's just from them not feeding, because I know datnoids, like Geralt, he likes live food, and I have to feed him with the tweezers because he's a shy guy, and the other fish eat faster than him, and he's not eating pellets right now. So, I mean, I can relate, like, I understand, like, it's a fish that's difficult to make sure he gets fed, which is fine, but I also was thinking, well, what if he has that parasite? So, the parasite sunken belly thing was a real deterrent for me, because I haven't seen that, and I already have my own problems in my fish room. I'm pretty sure there's 2 or 3 of my tanks that have the same disease, because I'm having one fish die every couple days, and I'm doing big water changes. I've treated them with levamisole, I've treated them with salt, and I'm worried that it's the tuberculosis, which is a mycobacteria, which is fish handler's disease, and it's really hard to treat because that type of bacteria has a special coating on it, so a lot of medications and stuff don't treat it. But a lot of fish that are healthy and have good genetics and not stressed out usually can live with that type of bacteria without any symptoms and without dying, and it's not a big deal. Well, I'm still trying to solve that problem because my favorite guppy tank is just like, the population is just plummeting. It's like every day I find a new dead fish, and so I really don't want to deal with sick fish right now. Normally I'm like, okay, whatever, like, it's the pet trade, fish are sick, I have medicine at home, I'm well equipped to handle this, I'm up for the challenge. And if I can figure out how to cure African cichlid sunken belly disease, like, that's just another skill I have. That's another, like, thing of value I can offer you guys. I can say, hey, this happened to me. This is, like, something that's common. It's unfortunate. It's devastating, but I figured it out. Or you could just watch me fail, and then maybe when it's your turn to figure it out, you'll say, okay, well, I'm not going to do it the way Emily did it because she killed her fish in, like, a day. So I'm up for challenges like that, and I know once I get a fish healthy, they can live for a long time. I'm not scared to buy sick fish, but if they're, like, really bad, so that was a huge deterrent. Another cool thing, so a good thing was they had, like, a lot of variety in livestock and dry goods. I said that. Bad thing, a lot of their stuff was overpriced, and I couldn't figure out if it was, one, to create a paywall, because some of the things that were overpriced are species that are a little bit more difficult to keep, or they get abused a lot. So, like, the ferrets were $499, bro. What? Oh my gosh. So if you're not, like, a ferret guy or whatever, and you're just a fish guy, that is irrelevant to you and doesn't matter, but it's an example. Ferrets are normally like $20, $40, maybe, I don't know, like $100 at, like, Petco and PetSmart. There's one big ferret breeder. What's the name? Ferguson? There's a name. It's the name brand of the food, the ferret food. They're like, they have a monopoly in the ferret world. I used to have ferrets, and I learned everything about them. I had a huge cage for them that I built out of It was insane. So I had 4 ferrets and an entire room that was basically a ferret cage. So I got really into ferrets before I got really into fish. So I know a little bit about ferrets, and I think $4.99 is overpriced. They said that if you buy a cage, they're only $4.50. What? So you want me to buy a cage for $200, and you want me to buy a ferret for $500? And the babies were cheaper than the older, bigger ones. The older, bigger ones are already toilet trained to poop in the corner, and the baby ferrets chew everything. They're very nippy, and they poop everywhere. They're not so good at going in the corners. So I don't know why the baby ones would be more expensive, but they were $5.99. I was like, oh my god, dude. So I don't really agree with that, but I understand if someone really, really wants a ferret, they might pay that. I don't know, but it could kind of stop people that would buy a ferret and they wouldn't be able to house it properly. Because when something's cheaper, more people can buy it and they're more likely to get abused and stuff. But I don't agree with that price. Another price I didn't agree with was the dwarf red lobster. They were like $369. I don't know if it's because they imported them and the shipping was ridiculous, or they have to have a special permit to sell crawdaddies, or if it is just because it's something that's uncommon to see in a store and they wanted to capitalize on how uncommon it is. The first 2 reasons I can understand. So like when I went to Pets and such, they had zebra plecos. Now online zebra plecos are $2.99 each. Or 200 each, $1.99 each. I remember that Pets and such had them for $50 more than what you can get them online, which makes sense because that includes the shipping, and they're making like $10 profit off of them basically. So that I can agree with. So I don't know if it was a situation like that where they were just trying to make up for the shipping, but I'll tell you right now, I'm gonna press X to doubt because I googled it and I can buy a dwarf red lobster online for $14.99, $11.99 to $14.99 at like 5 or 6 different online stores. Obviously, I'm gonna probably pay like $50 or $60 in shipping. So I don't know if I'm really agreeing with that $369. Now in Utah, it might be like a weird thing. Like I don't know if the crawfish are illegal or what. If they're charging like that extra price just because like it's a hot commodity, they have to have a special permit, or like it was hard for them to smuggle it into the state. I don't know. But I can tell you one thing, I am not spending almost $400 on a crawfish if I can find it online for like $20. So that was something I disagreed with. Yeah, the Oscars made me really sad. The sunken belly. That was about it. I wouldn't call the store sketchy. Well, I guess maybe. I don't know, because I don't know. Maybe they're treating the African cichlids for that parasite. Maybe there's a reason why some of the prices were high. Because some of their prices were really good. Like the datnoid was $89.99. I don't know. So that's just my first glance at the store. I did end up buying 2 fish from them that I am going to quarantine for sure and treat for parasites, because one of the fish I bought was in a tank that had cichlids that had the sunken belly, but it wasn't a cichlid, so I don't know if it carries that parasite or whatever. But I am gonna quarantine the heck out of it and treat it. So it's 1:30 now. I gotta be to work at 4, and I'm about 30 minutes out from my house, so I got some time to set up a little acclimation tank, whatever you want to call it. So we'll be all right with that. Yeah. So it wasn't the best fish store I've been to, but I don't think it's as bad as what someone else might think. I'm gonna be very fair and say I'm pretty neutral on it. Some of the things, like me outweigh the cons. Like, I would still go there to get dry goods, and I'm still gonna look at the fish, but it's a store that now I know I need to take extra time to think, okay, what tank is this fish in that I want? Do the other fish look okay? Other stores, I'm kind of like, yeah, that's fine. Like, it's not really questionable. I look at the fish and they all look good, and I'm like, yeah, there's a fish right there. I want that one. But this one, it's kind of like, okay, do I really want to buy that fish? Like, this is a store where I have to stop and think, which takes a lot of the excitement out for me because I'm very impulsive and I'm excitable. I'm very easy to excite. So a store where I have to sit and think and be like more serious and like use brain power and stuff, it's easier for me to just go to one of the other stores. Or if I see something in a store and I'm like, that's too expensive, I can get it off of Uncle Sam's Discus. I can get 40 of them for like $60 instead of getting like one or two for $30 each. So I don't mind paying a little bit more on each like retail prices, but if I feel like you're jacking the prices up way too high. One thing they had, something was only $8.99, and I was like, damn, I should get that. What was it? I'll have to look back at the footage, but there was a fish that was only, oh heck, I missed my exit. That's okay. There was a fish that was only $8.99, and I was like, dang, I should get a couple of them. I'll look back on the footage and see, and then we'll put something on the screen. But yeah, I tried to get some footage of the fish, the tanks, a little bit of the dry goods, and then the prices so you guys could see. But that's about it. I'm gonna get home and do these guys, and then probably make a part 2. So see you guys next time. Bye. Have a good day.